You're right in highlighting that there are a lot of risks, and all of them I would, in a very generic fashion, put it as extraneous to Indian economy. They're all things happening outside which are definitely hitting us. And we are every now and then understanding the intensity of this and responding to it. Energy, fertilizer prices. Energy, not just the price, but also the availability. The risks to sourcing of energy. All these are challenges which are not in the medium term, not in the long term, but also in the short term. At a time when all the economies globally are trying to, one, attend to the climate-related risks and had committed themselves during the various COP21, 22, and so on. As recently as in Scotland, you're looking at a transitional phase where you wanted natural gas to come through. India, of course, has proved that it has kept up the nationally determined commitments as was given in Paris, and it will continue to do that, and the Paris commitments were fulfilled purely and entirely with our own resources. But at this stage, if natural gas is going to be beyond our means, obviously you're looking at reverting to coal to an extent because you need the base level of electricity to be generated. And that just cannot be done only through solar or wind energy. So you are telling yourself, you've given your commitment, you've proved that you can fulfill the commitments, but now you're at a risk of having to go back to thermal. Is this right? And this is not a dilemma just for India, it's a dilemma for very many countries. So that is one major challenge for us for the immediate and for the medium term as well. How much more will you ramp up the installed capacity for solar or any other renewable, even if it's nuclear? That is one thing. And second, of course, availability of fertilizer. India is a country which successfully produces almost all that we consume and are also in a position to export. Whether it's milk, whether it is vegetables, fruits, whether it is coarse grains, which is today the golden cereal, the coarse grains are looked up to because they are the wellness-giving grains. All these are abundantly produced in India. But we do need fertilizers. Our soil is fairly fatigued out in some parts. In some other parts, there still are good levels of fertility in the soil. So you need that. Fertilizer is at a great risk. Last year, we had to give 10x the price to import. And obviously, Indian farmers are still not really large farmers. Many of them just have barely enough land with which they produce. I don't want to use the word subsistence farmers. They do produce and they do market as well, or they market the total produce and buy something else. So it's not the classical subsistence farmer. But they need fertilizers at an affordable price. I can't raise the input cost by saying I'm importing it at this price, therefore it is yours to take and take the burden as well. So we have footed the entire price. The farmer pays what he had paid in 2018, 19, 20. Even today, he pays that price in spite of the international price going up. So these are energy, fertilizer, are all becoming expensive. As a result, in some parts of the country, not so much for us, there is severe food insecurity. We are in a position to export. But if our input costs are going up, or if our farmers themselves come under stress, export and the global understanding, multilateral institutional compulsions don't help in exporting food that easily. And this is a bane of some understandings which have been given a play since the Uruguay